Recording in progress.
Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial, and this segment is brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals publish to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. Joining me on this segment is Brittany Wilkins, the founder of Historians Connect, and also the host and founder of the podcast titled The Coin, Black History on the Other Side. Brittany, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me today, Mark. It's a pleasure to be here to speak with you today.
Brittany, tell us a little bit about your work, and specifically, who are the types of folks that you serve?
Yeah, sure. No problem. So it was back in 2019 when I got inspired by the idea for my love of Black history. For my love of Black history, it inspired a passion for me to create and found Historians Connect. Historians Connect is an initiative to bridge the gap between African American history and Black culture. And from there, I decided to launch my podcast, The Coin, Black History on the Other Side. What I realized in serving communities of color that we were so far disconnected from the true essence of Black history. And I wanted to really bridge that gap. And so with my podcast, it's unlike any other Black history podcast you'll listen to today. It's a different Black history, not commonly known, where I teach about various aspects of ancient African history, spanning all the way from current day events, pushing that timeline back before the transatlantic slavery.
What was your inspiration like beyond the history? Was there a challenge? Did you feel like there were misunderstandings about the history, and what was happening that really inspired you to take on these projects?
It was from a personal experience. When I was in high school, I had an American history teacher who told a classroom full of African American students that we had no history, that the African history did not exist, that only American history existed. And so I couldn't find positive stories. I couldn't find positive African rich cultural heritage in traditional textbooks. And it was not only a challenge that I experienced myself, it was also what I'm seeing currently today in many K through 12 public education systems, as the curriculum to me is missing a lot of history.
Fascinating. So where did you have to go to discover these stories, and who did you have to find? And I'm fascinated by how you unearthed these stories and the history. Can you tell us more?
Yes, so I work with a network of historians. I started attending local Black history classes at a community church, as well as working with different historians at local historical societies and centers. And from there, they've kind of taken me under their wing and saying, these are the types of stories we need to tell. They've kind of recommended me books to start reading about the true essence of African history and given me a list of African scholars who have kind of paved the pathway for me. And it's from me learning about those African scholars, the work that they did in the field of African history, and taking those stories and taking that research and bringing that to light.
Tell us more about the podcast. The title of it is The Coin. Tell us more about that and what you share on that podcast with your audience.
Yes, so The Coin, the idea and the motivation behind The Coin is to tell a different side of Black history, not commonly known today. Because today we know about the civil rights movement. Today we know about the transatlantic slave trade. We know about the abolition of slavery. We know about Dr. Martin Luther King. But do we know that there was a period of time where Africans traveled and took voyages to ancient America prior to Christopher Columbus discovering America? And these are the types of stories and the types of history that I teach on the podcast.
Fascinating. Brittany, how can folks find out more about the podcast, and where can they go to discover more about your work?
Yes, so you can visit us online at www.historiansconnect.org, and we are on all your favorite streaming platform apps. It's The Coin, Black History on the Other Side.
And for folks listening now, who are the types of folks that you would like to connect with and invite to reach out to you and connect personally?
I would like to connect with all people who are interested and inspired to learn more about Black history, as I think it is an important topic, especially for the time that we're in, to educate many audiences.
Brittany, this has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time to share with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and Historians Connect and The Coin.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for having me on the show today. I appreciate it.
That was Brittany Wilkins, founder of Historians Connect, and this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals publish to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.